Now recording.
Hello.
Scott.
Hello. Good night. Good afternoon. Good evening.
February 9th.
Good
Fate.
morning.
10. Skyscraper. You know, this day is gonna be fucking hardcore. I'm having a bad dream. My injured body wants to sleep deeply, but my mind is still buried in that scene and I can't fall into a deep sleep. My still injured body is burning, and my mind that cannot mourn enough is still burning too. I might be having a nightmare. As I doze, I see a dream in my unclear mind. How many victims were there? Tosaka said nobody died, but that is only from the outside. Having their life sucked out by force, there will certainly be after effects. Long-term physical disabilities and mental damage from lack of oxygen. There were even students that had their skin melted. That scar is something that will stay with them for the rest of their lives, even if it heals. My body hurts. My almost dead, no, my absolutely dead body convulses. It was unfortunate for everyone involved, but you still did well. You were able to stop the disaster in exchange for a wound you would normally die from. So there is nothing to mourn or to be ashamed of. The pain tells me to quietly fall asleep for now. No, I can't deceive myself with such reasoning. It makes no difference to the fact that the disaster occurred while I was there, but I couldn't do anything. I say I saved lives, but at the same time, I couldn't save anybody. If that was just a mistake, if it never happened, I bet my mind and my body could go to sleep peacefully. I'm pissed off. It's ridiculous for my mind to grumble about such a thing. There are no miracles like that. It's a great insult to want to go back and redo things just because I think they're inconvenient and disastrous. It's impossible to take something that has already happened and make it so it didn't happen. It's impossible, and more importantly, it shouldn't be done. That's why I can't pretend the event didn't happen. There's only one thing I can do. If I hate the scene I still see even now, I should just act to prevent it from ever happening again. Sleep ends here. My body comes later. If my body moves, get up and run. If no one getting hurt is the ideal I aim for, I should do so until the point of my death.
So that's what he's going to ask the growl to do. Okay.
I open my eyes. I take a deep breath and draw air into my lungs. The cold winter air takes away my drowsiness and uneasiness. Habit is a great thing. It's only a bit past 6 o'clock. Maybe my body has healed quite well already and I'm awake at my usual time.
Yes.
I get up and fold the futon. During that normal action, a sharp pain runs through my left arm as if there's a crack in my bone.
そりゃそうだよな。さすがにまだ治りきってないか。
But all that's left is this pain. It's much better than when I got my stomach slashed by Berserker a few days ago. At that time, my body was so weak that the nausea was worse than the pain. I go out into the hallway. The sunlight is gloomy and offers no energy. The weather is very cloudy, like it's going to rain.
シロ、目が覚めたのですか？
ああ、今目が覚めた。そういうセイバーこそ今朝は早いんだな。
Yeah, it's unusual for Saber to be awake before breakfast is ready.
シロ、私とて好きで眠っているわけではありません。私が朝食まで眠っているのは単に魔力を温存するためだと言ったはずです。いかにも普段から寝過ごしているという物言いはやめてほしい。
なんでさ、別にそんなつもりで言ってないぞ。
Sorry for the noises, guys.
単にこんな早起きしていいのかって思っただけだ。
ほう、そうですか。私が早起きするのはおかしいと。
Saber sounds cranky. Is it just me? It seems Saber is stricter today, or maybe I should say she's unreserved.
いや、おかしいとかじゃなくていいのかなって。セイバーが頻繁に眠らなくちゃいけないのは俺のせいだ。だから今朝もできる限り眠っていないといけないんじゃないのか。
当然です。ですが、 それはあくまで待機状態に過ぎません。私が眠っていたのは緊急時に備えてのもの。
道理にかなわないってなんで？別に今は誰とも戦ってないし襲われてもいないぞ。
いえ、ですからそれは。
Saber is unclear as if there's something she doesn't want to say.
いいけど今は緊急ってわけじゃないんだし、出かけるまで眠っていた方がいい。朝飯ができたら呼びに行くから、それまで力を温存しといてくれ。今日一日セイバーの力を借りることになるんだから。
I like the development of Saber.
Yeah, she's growing, man.
Yeah,
Becoming more social.
wild.
She's going to become best girl, but okay.
I head
Anyway.
towards the kitchen.
Maybe. Who knows?
待ってください、シロ。
なんだ
Oh
よセイバ
boy.
ー。他に何？
あなたは今何をすると言いましたか？
I gasp without realizing. Even though she's asking me a question, Saber glares at me as if not letting me answer.
そもそもあなたは安静にしなければいけない体でしょう。朝食の支度など凛がします。
That's
シロが優先すべきことは部屋で休み、体を癒すことです。
I
そ
love
れ
how
は分かっていないとは言わせません。
Okay, so today we are going to have toast. And just toast.
I love how similar Saber and Shirou are. At the end of the
That's
day,
good.
they're very similar
right.
to each other.
セイバー。
Yeah.
Saber sounds strict because she's concerned about my body.
部屋に戻ってください、シロ。眠りが必要なのは私ではなくあなたの方です。
She might be able to read my mind as she glares at me even harder. But still, I can't let Shinji
い
go.
や、部屋には戻らない。もう十分休んだし、やらなくちゃいけないことがあるだろう。準備ができたら街に出よう、セイバー。今日中
And
にシンジ
Archer
を
in
捕まえる
creative
んだ。
mode behind to him. Send Archer.
今日中にライダーのマス
He
ター
has a
を
good
捉え
eye,
る理由などあ
hasn't
りま
he?
せん。戦う
Hey,
のな
I have a
ら
question.
シロの傷
I
が
have a
癒えて
question.
からにするべき
One
です。
sec.
そ
Yeah.
れからでも遅くはない
It's
で
about
し
the
ょう。
previous episode because I don't remember. Tosaka wasn't in the. She wasn't in the school, right?
No, she was not. She was
Okay,
somewhere
no,
else.
no.
That's that.
Not during the
that's
fight. She
Okay,
was
okay.
probably in the cabin.
Yes,
Okay,
likely
sorry,
she
that
was in the
doesn't-
shed.
Ah, the Chevy, the cabin. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Sorry.
それは違う、セイバー。順番で言うなら、俺の体なんて
Where they
後回しだ。
were gasping that Shirou was able to project. Into-
Ah, yeah, I remember now. I remember now.
also known as the Paraguayan version of the second magic.
そんな暇はないん
The
だ。
Paraguayan
信じた奴
version
が
of
何
the
をするかは
second.
お
A
前だって
weaker
分かるだ
version.
ろう。またあんな結界を張られる前にあいつからライダーを切り離す。さあ、
昨日のような犠牲者を出したくないというのですか。ライダーのマスターを倒すのではなく、ただそれだけのために戦うと。
そんなことはない。シンジには責任を取らせる。そのためにはライダーを倒さなくちゃいけないだけだ。それに犠牲者を出さないために行動するなんていうのは当たり前だろ。そんなこと戦う理由以前の問題だ。
そうですか。マスターがそういうのな
The
ら
US in Vietnam.
私は従うだけです。
Bruh.
Did they say good morning to each other?
シンジを探す？
I guess.
別に文句は
I
ないけど、
don't know,
ちゃんと勝ち
actually.
目があって言ってるんでしょうね、シロ。
That's rude.
He won against Hinge the last time.
No, I think they said good morning to each other. Yeah, I think they said.
I don't think so. I don't remember
I
that.
think so.
Yeah, I think they did. I think they did.
If they are to have a good relationship, they need to say good morning to each other when they wake up.
They said good afternoon.
After breakfast, Tosaka reacts as soon as I declare that I can't let Shinji go.
勝ち目ってシンジに対してか。
そうよ。前もって言っとくけど、賞賛もないくせに他のマスターに手を出す気だった。なんて言ったら笑うわよ。
あ
She'll laugh at you. Will laugh at him anyway, Tosaka.
Damn it.
That's it.
Now that she says that, I've only thought about stopping Shinji and never thought about how to do so.
ちょっ
Shiro 101.
エミヤ君本気？
すまん。笑ってくれ。
うわ、悪いけど笑えないわ、今の冗談。
She reacts like that, she'll make me realize how stupid I am. I think that's the point.
セイ
Again.
バー、あんたのマスターはこんなんだけど、あなた自身はどうなの？ライダーと戦うことに異論はないわけ？
I mean, she went into the middle of the night trying to fight the assassin by her own, but so, okay.
ライダーと戦うだけな
Yeah,
ら
but
問
she's
題はあり
smarter
ませ
now.
ん。
Hopefully.
彼女の能
Or
力は
less stubborn.
確認済みです。
She's not that smart. No. No, she's smart. She's smart. She's smart.
No, she's smart. I'm saying she's smarter
But
now.
she is-
Where that she doesn't
Yeah,
think it's
but-
only her responsibility to solve all of Shido's problems.
In any case, she has good instincts.
Yes.
Yeah, fair enough.
Now they're actually willing to talk about strategy with each other. So that's already a development on that end.
But she still won't reveal her
Identity.
noble phantasm.
何しろライダーと
I'm
Indeed.
still
直接対峙した
thinking,
の
what
で
it
すから
could possibly be? I wonder. Really hardly.
ああ、そうだっけ。なら、シローにもライダーがどの程度かは分かっているんだ。
Pretty strong.
Tosaka inquires with her eyes. She must be asking about Ryder's strength. Certainly I have a grasp of it. I mean, you know.
If it,
I mean, Tosaka knows as well because she was the one that treated his wounds when he came home, so...
yeah,
Fair enough. I mean, she treated his wounds.
in strength,
Because it was
the
pretty much
rider,
he himself.
in strength, the rider doesn't have that much strength, like Berserk or something like it. But she has a lot of agility and she has powerful noble phantasm.
Well, Ryder is not a very well-rounded servant, but she is really fast, and
Yeah.
she's very strong for a rider, so that's
That's
something.
true.
Damn, riders are weak.
They're usually
I
pretty
didn't know.
physically weak, but they're really fast to compensate. And she has a good noble phantasm or two, so.
And just a question,
She-
why is she not riding anything?
Well, she did ride something out of the school last time, and it
But we didn't
destroyed
see-
the school.
The wind?
Oh no, it wasn't the wind
Yeah.
that destroyed the walls, the floor, the ceiling, and the windows at the same time. It was something a little more expressive than that. But even though she's not my servant, if I see her fight, I can put numbers to her abilities. That's also called the status screen. You read that. Ryder herself wasn't a superior
ライ
servant.
ダーはセイバーほど強くない。1対
That's
1の
true.
戦いならまず負けはしないと思う。
Certainly not. Except, I mean,
なら、
except
ちゃん
if
と
her
勝算
noble
はあるんじゃない
phantasm is fucking broken. We don't know that.
It nearly is, but
Maybe-
it's possibly beatable
I
because
mean, we know for a fact that she has more than one because she can do the Bloodford Andromeda, and she
and
did
that's
whatever the
one
fuck
thing
she
that
did.
doesn't. And just a question, how she's still alive if she literally slit her own throat?
Because that was the activation for her spell.
And it doesn't kill her, and doesn't kill her?
No, she can
Oh.
go to spirit form and kill some other people to get her power back.
Why would it kill her? Whatever.
Then you do have a chance of
シン
winning.
ジは魔術師じゃないからライダーはマスターからの支援を受けられない。必然的にセイバーとライダーの一騎打ちになるものね。
Just like Tosaka says, as long as Shinji is her master, Ryder has to fight by herself. There should be no disadvantage for Saber.
何よ気の乗らない顔して。何か問題でもあるっていうの？
ああいいかトサカ。それだけ戦力的に上回ったセイバーに追い詰められていたのにライダーはシンジを連れて逃げ延びたんだ。あれはライダーの宝具だったと思うんだが。
The arrow of light that trampled through the hallway. A wave of destruction that assuredly disintegrated my body without a trace if Saber didn't knock me aside. If that was Ryder's secret move, we can't be too optimistic, even if Ryder herself is weak. No, more than not being optimistic, I feel like we shouldn't even challenge her.
つまりライダーはライダー本人より所有する宝具の方が優れてるタイプって
I mean,
わ
that's
けね
usually the case, right? Fuck, that's the wrong button.
でセイバーシローはともかくあなたならライダーの宝具が何であるか分かったんじゃない
I was thinking about it.
面目ありません。白を守ることに精一杯で、私もあれが何であるか確認することはできなかった。そんなことに気を割いていたら、私も白もあの一撃に巻き込まれていたでしょう。
巻き込まれたって何？ライダーの宝具って飛び道具なの？
それに近いものでした。分類的にはリンの使う魔術に近い。あれは私の剣やランサーの槍のような対人宝具ではないのでしょう。
私の魔術に近いってそれこそ変よ。セイバーの対魔術は神業じゃない。現代の魔術じゃまずあなたに傷を負わせることはできない。そのあなたがかわさなくちゃいけない魔術なんてそれは
It would be close to sorcery. God damn it, every servant is
神
broken.
秘はより強い神秘の前に無効化される。私の鎧を通ることができる神秘はあなたたちの言う魔法か神域に住む幻想種だけです。
So at this point, we have Assassin, which has like a degenerated version of the second magic. And we have fucking Rider, which apparently has a noble phantasm with magic as strong as sorcery as well. Isn't that fucking great?
魔法使い
Not very strong.
ライダーは魔術師だっていうの？セイバー。
いいえ、それほどの魔力は感じませんでした。彼女はライダーです。魔法使いがいるとすれば、それはキャスターだけでしょう。
Ah, so a
ライ
different
ダーの
entity.
宝具はおそらく別のものだと思います。
A phantasmal race, perhaps. Tosaka gives a relieved sigh at Saber's answer, but I don't quite get it.
セイバー、お前の鎧っていうのはそんなに硬いものなのか？魔法でなければ通らないなんて言うけど。
Well,
それな
I
ら
suppose you
ラン
could.
サーのゲイボルクは魔法ってことになるが。
I suppose you could say that.
ええ、確かにランサーのゲイボルクは魔法に近い呪いですが、リン、シローに説明してあげてくれますか？
Technically, if you were to compare Guy Bolga to sorcery, it would be closest to the fifth magic, I think, because it's changing the course of time in a way
私？
with
ま
causality.
あいいけど。要するにシローはセイバーは魔法じゃないと傷つかないとか。
あ、いや、
I
別にそういうわけじゃない
genuinely
けど。
don't know a lot about this about the noble phantasm, phantasms, but I certainly know that they need a nerf.
ただ、そんなに頑丈な鎧な
Maybe
ら
not.
すごいなって思っただけだ。
Well, it isn't the
Broken,
armor that
please
is
nerf.
strong.
そりゃすごいわよ。セイバーに限らずサーバントってのはみんな英霊なのよ。霊体ってこともあるけど、まっとうな手段じゃ傷一つつけられない。物理的な手段でサーバントを傷つけられるのは同じ英霊であるサーバントだけ。逆に言えばサーバント同士ならただのペーパーナイフでもセイバーを傷つけることができる。
相手がサーバントなら、セイバーの鎧もそう鉄壁ってわけじゃないってことか。
そうね。けどセイバー自身接近戦の技量が優れているから白兵戦ではまずセイバーに傷は負わせられない。残った手段は遠距離からの攻撃、魔術っていう飛び道具になるわけだけど、セイバーは騎士のくせにとんでもない対魔力を持ってるから大抵の魔術は弾かれてしまうのよ。バ
Saber's
ッ
a
ドラック
tank.
に代表される呪いなんてま
Yeah.
ず届かないし、魔力を矢として放つ直接干渉も効かない。セイバーを倒したかったら
Saber is
真
broken.
正面からの
Please
切り合い
nerf.
で彼女を任さなくちゃダメ。
Saber is listening quietly to Tosaka's explanation. She probably is not interrupting because it's all true.
なんだよ。そんなのインチキだ。
だし
元気で叶わないから魔術で勝負するっていうのに、魔術そのものがセイバーに効かないならどうしろって言うんだ。なんか不公平だぞ、その
Lose.
話。
You're dumb.
そうね。けどそのセイバー
Saber's
が
angry.
絶対に効かないというわけでもないでしょ。
Holy
バー
shit.
サーカーは力だけならセイバーを上回ってるし、ランサーだって白兵戦において必殺の槍を持ってる。今話してるライダーだってセイバーを出し抜くほどの宝具を持ってたんだから、セイバーも完璧ってわけじゃないわ。
It's not that it's impossible, it's just that you need either strength that surpasses the utmost limit of humanity in its best years, or magic that is infinitely close to sorcery.
So essentially,
私たちだって
everyone
セイ
except
バーを倒す
Arthur
方
can
法
kill
はあるも
Saber.
の。
No, so essentially what it means is that about maybe 1% of the people who have ever lived could possibly kill Saber. So that's that.
単にセイバーの耐魔力を上回る魔術を持ってくるか、サーバントが使っている武器を借りて寝ている間に首を切るとか。サーバントの武器ならサーバント自身と同じ霊覚なんだから、傷をつけることが可能なはずよ。
That's why if you were someone broken like Shiki, for example, from Kara no Kyokai, that had the ability to see the severing lines of life, you could just cut one of them and Saber would be gone because you're messing with her origin. Or if you were a magician and you were able to cast one of the sorceries, you could probably kill Saber very easily as well, because it goes past her magic resistance. Or if you were a berserker, you could just bash her skull in.
Just beat her ass a lot.
It's a scary example, but I understand. There are other, ways. For example, suppose you had a...
that drawing of Saber is funny.
Suppose you had like mystical eyes of petrification, for example. You could make Saber into a statue, and then that would be the end of that. That's also a way to deal with it. There are ways to go about it.
The Saber's pose is funny.
Hold on, Tosaka. You can't talk like that in front of Saber herself.
あ、そうなんだ。じゃあライダーの宝具が特別優れてるってわけじゃなくて、サーバントの攻撃だからセイバーも守りに徹したってことなのか。
わけないでしょ。セイバーが守りに徹するのなら、ライダー自身じゃ何をしたって追い詰めることなんて不可能よ。ライダー本人がそう優れた英霊じゃないのなら、彼女が宝具を使ったところでたかが知れているし。そうでしょ、セイバー。ライダーの宝具はライダー自身の能力とは関係のない。
What Tosaka's trying to say is that maybe her noble phantasm is like another different entity completely, with its own set of abilities.
おそらく
Something that doesn't scale with her power.
Then how Riders got it?
Well, she's a rider, right? She needs to ride something.
Damn, so it's 2 for the price of 1. Damn.
魔術か幻想種か。
Fantastic race in this case being like a mythical animal. Something of the ilk of gods and such.
どちらにせよ、あの魔法陣から放たれたものは圧倒的でした。
Or fairies.
直撃を受けた場合、
You know,
生
that
き
kind
延
of
び
thing.
られるサーバントなどいないでしょう。
そうなの？数値的にどれくらい？
あなたたち風に言うのなら A プラスといったところでしょうか。私個人の
Can we
推
check
測に
the
過ぎないの
stats,
で
please?
断定はでき。
You haven't gotten an update.
何それ？
Okay.
魔法一歩手前じゃない。
Well, of course it is Tosaka. If it wasn't, it wouldn't be able to hit Saber.
Everyone's
That's
OP
true.
in this game.
うわ
There should be a patch note to the next real war.
What is this the level of sorcery?
What?
What
Dude,
is
there's a
what
co-
is the level of
there's a thing.
sorcery?
Sorcery is
There's a
in one
thing.
of the 5 magics.
Okay, but
Yeah,
he said A plus is mostly a level of sorcery. So what would be the level of sorcery?
Sorcery is beyond human understanding in many ways. It's actually a miracle. So
What I want is like A, B, C, D, S. What
I
is
guess
it?
no,
E would
you
be
can't
like
put it on a
okay.
scale because it's unachievable by
Okay, I already
anyone.
know what it is. I already know what it is. Let's say this.
Yeah.
Is X EX. I
Well,
read
not
something.
really, because that's still on a scale. Sorcery is just completely beyond
Oh
feasibility.
no,
Okay.
no, but what are the what could be examples of the other magics? What would be a magic of level E and magic of level A per se?
No, this stuff isn't actual true magic. It's kind of like true magic, but it's still achievable by something living without it having seen the root. You can't put true magic on a scale because it's limitless. You can get close to it. An EX Noble Phantasm would be very infinitely close to true magic, but it just isn't in the same level of power because it just isn't. You can't scale it. A plus
Okay.
is very close. EX is closer. You have to see the root to be able to do any real magic.
単
Understand.
純に破壊するだけの宝具というわけではないのでしょう。もともとは他の用途がある宝具なのではないでしょうか。
そうだとしても厄介ね。セイバーの話じゃ A 判定どころじゃないし、瞬間的な攻撃力ならサーバント中最高ってことになるのかしら。
That's true.
まあ確かに攻守ともに優れた宝具のようでしたが、それより私の宝具。
Well, we're in a complicated situation where even if Saber's Noble Phantasm is better, she can't really use it because her magical energy is running out. So, Saber comments to Tosaka, who goes into pondering. What is it? Saber doesn't seem to be enjoying this conversation.
セイバー、遠坂の意見、なんか引っかかるところでもあるのか。
あ、いえ、別にそういうわけではないというか、本当はどちらが強いかなど追求するのは騎士にあるまじき行いというか。
She's acting suspiciously. No, she's acting cute. Saber mumbles on as if ashamed of what she's saying.
まあいいけど。
I mean,
それよりさ、
when has Saber not acted cute?
セイバーとランサーのは対
But
人
she was beating the shit out of Shirou.
Fair
対
enough.
人宝具
When
です
we
か。
asked for a secret technique.
言
Yes,
葉通りの意味
that
で
was
すが、
bad. That was not good.
私の風王結界やランサーのゲイボルクは
Okay,
あくまで
that,
人を倒すための武装
there
です
she。was basically Rin style, so not
That
cute.
was
Fair
Saber
enough.
at her limit.
呪いを帯びていたところで、その用途は対人の息を出るものではありません。
Well, that is true. Saber's invisible sword is certainly an advantage in battle. That is only the case of man versus man. There would be no difference in speed even if he used an invisible sword to chop wood. Lancer's Guy Bolga is the same. Even with a cursed lance that will strike the heart, if the opponent is a rock or a house, it's no more than a strong lance.
だから対人の宝具ってことなのか。ならライダーの宝具は。
大軍宝具ってことになるわね。そういえば父さんに聞いたことがあったわ。宝具には対人に優れたもの、大軍に優れたものがあるって。簡単に言って対人宝具は弾数制限のない拳銃で、大軍宝具ってのは一発限りのミサイルってことね。ライダーの宝具は強力だけど、その分使用にかなりの制限があるんじゃないかしら。
Hold on. A gun would be no match for a missile. It's true that Saber's invisible sword is an awesome blade, but it'll be blown away before she could swing it against such a ridiculous noble phantasm.
つまりライダーと戦うのなら宝具を使われる前に倒せってことか。
でしょうね。宝具の打ち合いになったら勝ち目はない。ライダーとシンジを探すって言うなら、それだけは頭に入れておきなさい。大前提として、ライダーが宝具を使う前に倒すこと。戦いを長引かせれば長引かせるだけ、こっちが不利になるから。
もしくは私が戦っている間にライダーのマスターを倒せばいい。
That's the conclusion. You don't know what Rider's Noble Phantasm is, and additionally, it is too powerful. As we have no countermeasure, we can only beat her before she has a chance to use it. So whatever the Noble Phantasms with the other servants are, we cannot compete in Noble Phantasms against Rider.
忠告助かったよ、遠坂。俺たちは真珠を探しに行くけど、遠坂はどうする？留守番していてくれるか？
そうね。あなたたちがそう言うなら、私たちも
Wait a
真珠を
minute,
探し
wait
て
a
もいいんだ
minute,
け
wait a
ど。
minute.
まあ、
Could
やめとくわ。
could Archer have a big powerful noble phantasm?
Probably. We
Maybe.
don't know.
Ah, damn it.
What does that say about the non-phantasm of Archer?
We don't know. We haven't seen it.
But I think they said already said something like
No, they didn't
Nope.
say nothing.
no.
No. Here we go.
Oh,
No
sorry,
Phantasm
sorry.
unknown.
Sorry, sorry.
We have never seen it, so we don't know anything about it.
敵はライダーだけじゃないし、私たちはもともとバーサーカーを倒すために手を組んだんだしね。シローがシンジを追っている間、私は私でやることがあるから。
Tosaka stands up with a cold smile on her face.
それじゃあね、いい結果を期待しているわ。
So it is. We go alone. Leaving Tosaka at home, I leave with Saber. It's 7:30 in the morning. The hill is really quiet. Students usually go to school at this time, but not many people are around today, mostly because they're all at the
学校は
hospital.
休校だそうですね。
I hope
死者
so.
が出なかったとはいえ、大半の生徒は未だ立ち上がれる体ではないということですか。
重度の栄養失調みたいなもんだからな。まともに動けるようになるまで何日かはかかるだろう。
But those are the lucky ones. Transformation of the skin, necrosis of the tips of the limbs. I hear there were even students on the verge of blindness.
タイガも病院に運ばれたと聞きます。見舞いに行かずともいいのですか、シロ。
ああ、藤姉のはただの疲労だと。心配しなくてもいいから真面目に家で勉強してろとさ。
I called the Fujimura house and checked on Fujine's state before I left the house. I would like to go visit her, but I should hold off on that for now.
では探索に専念するのですね。それはいいのですが、シロに当てはあるのですか。私はサーバントの気配を読み取れますが、それも近づかなければわかりません。何か手がかりがなければ探し出すのは難しいのではないでしょうか。
ああ、確かにシンジが何もせずに隠れていた場合、探し出すのは難しいだろう。けど、あいつの性格から言って、昨日の今日でおとなしくしているとは思えない。
Shinji's not the type to stop when he's beaten. He's the kind of guy that'll take revenge.
では、ライダーのマスターは再び結界を張ろうとすると。
間違いなくな。俺と同じで、あいつはサーバントに魔力を提供できない。
So we should look for gas
見つけ
leaks
出すのはそう難しくはないん
and
じゃ
or
ない。
murders.
ライダーのマスターを探すのではなく、結界を探すのですね。
ああ、マスターの感知はできなくても、あれだけの結界なら近づけばわかる。それに場所も特定できるだろう。大きな建物で人がたくさん集まるところを当たっていけばいい。
Nice, nice. Shiro's being smart.
やりますね、シロ。
俺だって考えなしってわけじゃないぞ。探し出せる自信がなかったらこんなことは言い出さないよ。
Yes, I'm confident. There's the matter of the boundary field, but there's more meaning in us walking around. Just as I can't leave Shinji alone, I bet Shinji doesn't intend to let us go either. So they're kind of, at the same time, hunting him down and trying to bait him into attacking them in the middle of the road. Just to be sure, we go to Shinji's house. I have Saber check for the presence of Rider. The result is negative. Well, he's not the kind of guy that would be resting at
行こ
home.
う。シンジが結界を張るとしたら、
Damn, now I remember
こっちの
that
町じゃなくて
Sakura's
シンドの
probably at the hospital too.
Oh,
オ
she's
フィス街
definitely
の
at
ビ
the
ルを
hospital.
総当たりしていこう。
Calling out to Saber, I leave the Mato house.
いいのですか、シロ。ここはさくらの家なのでしょう。立ち寄ったのですから声をかけては。それぐらいは余裕があると思いま
Everyone,
す。
please say to me this is a choice.
I'm certainly worried about Sakura. According to Tosaka, Sakura was just weakened. Fortunately, she didn't have any external wounds. But if I can, I want to see her and take care of her since she has always taken care of me. But
やめておく。この戦いが終わるまでは、サクラと会って戦いに巻き込むわけにはいかないからな。
and most of all, I can't go and see Sakura if I'm about to fight Sakura's brother soon. If the worst comes to the worst and I have to kill Shinji, I'll never be able to face her. So So I shouldn't leave any lingering affections. I think that's the best course I can take, and I also believe it's for Sakura's best as well.
I mean, she'll probably just say thank you, killed that bastard. Thank you very much, Shirou. Now let me jump in her dick, please.
We go to every building we spot. We went through all the larger ones first, but there's no findings yet. Wiping the sweat off my brow, I move my heavy limbs. Trying to calm my breathing, I stand still for a while and take a deep breath.
Shirou, 何か異常でもあり。Shirou, こちらへ。
ちょっと待って、そっちは公園だぞ。こっちにはまだ見てない建物が残って。
それは後にしてください。今はこちらが最優先です。
Something must have caught her attention. She speaks strictly and pulls me towards the park.
It's an ice cream.
セイバー、どうしたんだよ。こんなところまでやってきて。ここには何もない。そんなのセイバーにだってわかるだろう。
いいですから、そこのベンチに座ってください。話はその後で聞きます。
Stared down by Saber, I reluctantly sit down on the bench. You're not being stared down, my friend. You're being stared up. She's really small. If you're being stared down by Saber, you must be like 140 tops. And then I almost faint. I hold my face with one hand. My forehead is sweaty and my breath is out of control even though I'm sitting down. Hold on. Why am I sweating in the middle of winter? As soon as I ask myself that, I finally realize the state of my body. I'm not tired, this is just my unhealed wound aching. Ridiculous. No matter how deep the breaths I take are, I can't catch my breath. My body is heavy and my legs refuse to stand up.
ようやく自分の体に気がついたようですね、シロ。
Saber is angry. It's only natural. It does no good when the one who suggested the idea of searching for Shinji is just resting on a bench.
すぐ動けるようにするからしばらく待ってくれ。
私が注意しているのはそんなことではありません。どうやらあなたには何を言っても無駄のようですね。
Yeah, he's pretty dense. I understand that Saber is angry.
Dance is not the word, man. It's dumb. It's stupid. Those are the right words.
I understand, but I don't quite get what she's so angry about.
ちょっとセイバー、きちんと言ってくれないと何が言いたいのかわからないんだが。
わからないのなら語る必要はないでしょう。いいですから、シロはそこで休んでいてください。一人で休むのが嫌なら、私もお付き合いしますから。
Saying that, Saber sits next to me. The bench isn't that large. Saber's sitting so close to me that I could touch her shoulder if I leaned over a bit.
いや、待てってセイバー。休んでる暇なんてないだろう。俺たちは遊びに来たんじゃなくて。
遊びになど来ていません。休憩も戦いのうちです。文句を言うのでしたら、まずその呼吸を整えてからにしてください。
いや、呼吸を整えろって。
It's true that my body is tired and I can't breathe properly, but if you're this close, my heart starts jumping and,
シロ、人の話を聞いていますか？今まで体に無理をさせてきたのですから、まずは肩の力を抜いて落ち着いてください。
いや、だから。
If she wants me calm, why doesn't she get away from me? I don't know what Saber thinks, but for me, she's a girl of around my age. She's actually younger, but she's a girl nonetheless, and on top of that, she's unrealistically beautiful. I don't know what kind of a guy would be able to calm down with her next to him.
And now we have this episode joke. Now we have the required episode joke about Shirou's dick being hard. It is wonderful. Moving on.
それならいいのですが、やはり横になった方がいいのでしょうか。
Saber looks around. Hey, why is there a guy using his lover's thighs as a pillow in this desolate park? And it seems Saber is looking at the couple and thinking.
シロ、気分が悪いのでしたらよ。
大丈夫、おとなしくしてればすぐに落ち着くから、余計な心配はしなくていい。
Oh man, poor Shirou is unable to. See, he can't take it, man. He can't take it. My boy. Looking away from Saber, I close my eyes so I won't see her. Calm down. Try to ignore Saber, who's sitting next to me. All I have to do now is to keep on breathing deeply and, he's gone. The fire died down after one night. The red fury walls were gone. There was a burnt field all around me, and the blackened woods were smoldering with the sounds of sparking. As I lay there, I think that it sounds like a small firework. The sky starts to cloud up. It would rain soon, and the fire should soon stop. I was looking up blankly at the sky with a body that was even having difficulty breathing. There are only burned corpses around me. I have burns all over my body, and there's a bad burn across my chest. My open chest. I feel like I could grab my heart if I put my fingers on the inflamed chest. Oh yeah, now that I think about it, I didn't fall because I was tired. My numb body wasn't kind enough to be able to rest just because I was tired. I fell because I think my wounds made me unable to move my arms or legs. So I was manly and did not panic. I knew I would not be saved, and I wasn't scared because everyone around me had died the same way. I just looked up at the clouding sky and watched myself as I grew thinner. But still, with my dazed consciousness, I thought to seek help as long as I was alive, and I reached out my hands. Wait, something's weird. I shouldn't remember a burning feeling in my chest. I wake up suddenly. I open my shirt and check my body. There's no scar on my chest. I almost died because of lack of oxygen from the burn after all, and I didn't have any fatal wounds. If I'd taken something like that, I bet even XCIII wouldn't have been able to save me. That's weird.
He already healed?
Isn't that strange? No, more importantly...
夜になってる。俺寝ちまってたのか。
はい。よく眠っているようでしたので起こしませんでしたが、その会話あったようですね。先ほどに比べて、
This would mean
白の顔色
though
は良くなっていますから。
that Shirou's healing abilities must have been there when he was a child.
That's true.
But that's
Damn, so
weird.
wait a minute. She basically stood sitting in a bench the entire afternoon.
Oh yeah, she spent like 6 hours with Shirou just lying down on her lap.
She's
It's very
diligent.
uncomfortable, guys.
She's diligent.
Well, Saber is anything but lazy. She is very, very diligent. So. In fact, it wasn't even 6 hours because it's not like they were. It was still the morning when they got to Shinto. So it was a long, long ass time she was sitting there.
そりゃ結果論だ。俺が起きなかったらどうするつもりだったんだよ。
そうですね。あまり変わりはないでしょう。日が落ちて寒くなってきましたから、そろそろ声をかけようと思っていたところです。
This is no good. No matter how I think about it, she's right in this case.
まあ確かに体の調子はすごくいいけど。
I get up from the bench and start to walk through the field. There's no trace in the field of what came before. No trace of when it used to be a residential district, nor any trace of when it was a red burning world. It kind of irritates me that in spite of that I saw that after image just by sleeping here.
シロ、何か問題でもあるのですか？
ああいや、どうせ休むなら別の場所にするべきだったなって。ここはどうも嫌な思い出がありすぎる。
嫌な思い出。シロはこの場所に縁があったのですか？
Oh, too many.
あ、そっか。話してなかったっけ？俺、昔はこの辺りに住んでたんだ。10年前の話だけどな。大きな火事が起きて、両親も家も焼け落
And
ちた。
she has nothing to
その
do
時に
and she has
そのまま養子にな
certainly
ったんだ
nothing to
よ。
do with it.
That's true.
Not even Fate Zero.
では、あなたは
They are just something else.
キリツグの実の子供ってわけじゃない。それに聖杯戦争と無関係ってわけでもないの。ここが前回の戦いの 最後の場所だってのは聞いてるよ。そこで生き残った俺がマスターになるんだから、皮肉というか縁があるっていうか。
Zeppelin,
Yes.
can I make a question?
You can.
Can someone have two crystal magics? Like, I don't know, maybe from the mother and from the father? Like, have two crystal magic?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Because the whole point is to you wouldn't marry two magi, I don't think, because the point is to transmit it.
But
I think what they could do is combine their crests into a single one, and then pass that on. They shouldn't do that because they might be killing one of the they would be killing one of the lineages and then creating a new one or strengthening one of the two. But I do believe they can do that. I'm not 100% positive, but I think so.
Okay, thanks.
I walk through the field.
Wait a minute. How are the crests created in the first place?
You crystallize them as you get old. You need to invent them.
So it could be technically done even to this day.
If Shirou grew up and he discovered magic in his own and he made it into some sort of a rote or like a thing that he was really good at doing, he could carve his own crest and then pass that on to his own son so that he would know how to do it the way that he knew how to do it.
Okay, fair enough.
Every time a magus starts a family, they need to do that. Maybe the regret of the dying people has seeped into this land.
Shirou,
Just like Carthage.
あなたが犠牲者を出すまいとするの
Never
は
again
それが
to
理由ですか？
provide any life.
あなた自身が聖杯戦争の犠牲者だからこそ自分のような犠牲者は出したくないと。
Fuyuki delenda est.
いや、それは。
Now that she mentions it, maybe it's logical. But strangely, I've never thought about it that way.
どうだろう。セイバーの言うことはもっともだけど、俺はもっと単純だと思うよ。10年前さ、ここでキリツグに助けられた時はただ嬉しかった。それ以外になかったから、自分もそうなれたらいいと憧れたんじゃないかな。
That's right. I was just happy at the time. I can't put into words the emotion I felt when my request for help was granted. But at the same time, the happier I was, the guiltier I felt.
けど、自分だけ願いが叶えられたってのは居心地が悪かった。俺は親父に助けられたけど、他の人たちは助けられずにずっとこのままだ。
It's very curious that even in the route where being a hero is seen as a good thing, and Shirou is able to be a hero, there's still this tragedy to it, where it's not healthy that he's a hero, because he's doing it out of like this weird mixture of survivor's guilt and spite. Everyone wished for help, and I was the only one who received it. Only I was saved. I was saved with the sacrifice of everyone else. So Emiya Shirou must take responsibility for it.
けどまあ、起きてしまったことは戻しようがないからな。
It isn't even like his own wish to do good that spawns his desire to become a hero. It's his weird sense of responsibility for being the only one that survived that tragedy. Think about that.
死んでいった人たちに報いたいなら、せめてこれからのことを防ぐべきだ。10年前のような
Retribution, that's the word. It's not a desire to save, it's a desire for revenge in a way.
合わせる顔がないだろう。まあ、俺の理由なんてその程度の。
Against himself, even. More importantly, we should continue searching for Shinji. I feel better, so we should go to the buildings we haven't searched yet. And there will be fewer people around that night. If Shinji wants to attack us, now would be the perfect time. If we're going to make ourselves a decoy, the real deal starts now.
行こうか、セイバー。とりあえずオフィス街に戻ろう。セイバー、どうした？忘れ物でもあるのか？
いいえ、ただ今朝のことを思い出していました。体の傷を治してからライダーのマスターを探すべきだと言った私に、 シロは順番が違うと言いました。
Maybe I said that, but I don't remember the details.
シロは昨日も同じ言葉を口にした。以前から感じてはいましたが、その時に確信したのです。あなたには自分を助けようとする気がないのだと。
As if, even stating that fact is a crime, she stares at me and declares so.
あなたは自身より他人を優先している。それは立派ですが、シロはもっと自分を大切にするべきだ。
Saber walks past me.
行きましょう。確かにここにいてはあなたに負担をかける。
Saber starts to walk towards the office district. I try to call out to her, but I can't in the end.
何を
Are you saying? Those words die in my throat. Can't be that I don't intend to save myself. It can't be true, but for some reason I cannot refute her words. Maybe a part of Shirou thinks he should have died, you know? Maybe that's why he leaves himself as the least important part of the equation. Maybe that's why he's like suicidally, you know, impulsive.
If he thinks he's already living, he's already just paying up what he
thinks he's
what
stealing.
he has debt.
He thinks he's living like a stolen life. You know?
No, he's paying the debt.
Yeah, like everyone else died, but he didn't. And it's unfair to those people that he's there. It could have been them, but it was him, and he feels awful about it. I feel that lies at the crux of the Shirou Emiya character. This is some dark shit. It's pretty heavy. We walk through the town. It's past 8 o'clock, and at this time when the station gets the most crowded, Saber and I stare at the map of the city.
主だった建物は回りましたね。他に行くべき場所はありますか？
そうだな。少し離れたところに工場がある。あそこも人が集まる場所だから調べておかないと。
Even as I answer, it's hard to look at Saber. It must be because that conversation earlier is still affecting me. Since Saber is acting like she doesn't care, it bothers me even more.
そういうセイバーの方はどうだ？ライダーの気配はつかめるか？
いえ、感じません。彼女とは一度戦っていますから、近くにいれば知覚できるのですが。
A strange feeling pierces my heart, a wave of magical energy that even I can feel. There's no way Saber can't feel that.
シロ、言うまでもないと思うのですが。
わかってる。近くにいるのか、セイバ
ー。いいえ、まだそこまでの距離ではないようです。ですが、確実に見られている。
A flare. They're watching us, so that must mean they finally fell for the decoy. If they're emitting magical energy so obviously, they must be trying to tempt us.
で、この気配、ライダーなのか？
My mind switches. The awkwardness from before disappears.
魔力をたどります。注意してください、マスター。
I nod silently. The murderous intent stinging my skin is coming from the office district, empty of people. Maybe no one is working overtime today of all days. Most of the lights in the buildings you could call the symbol of Shinto have already disappeared. Not many people are walking through the roads and the view isn't that bad. No one looks suspicious, and if Shinji is anywhere, he would be ahead of us. Perhaps in the park we were just in. Or perhaps above. The murderous intent is getting stronger. There's no mistake that an enemy is nearby. No, more like... I feel a chill run down my spine. From the intensity of the murderous intent that even I can feel. Perhaps we are already in the range of the... Perhaps we are already in the range of the enemy.
気をつけろ。何か変だ。
ええ、
Something's wrong. I
シロ
can
の
feel
感
it.
覚は正しい。このように人目のある場所で仕掛けてくるとは思いませんが、相手が相手です。
Nodding silently, we head to the park. I'll ignore the oppressive pressure that feels like having a knife stuck at my neck. Rider and Shinji are nowhere in the office district. If they're going to attack, it will be in the park where nobody will see.
セイバー。
Or they are up above.
I turn
Yeah, I
to
was
Saber.
thinking about it.
There you go. She rushes at me like lightning.
Holy shit.
and deflects the attack over my head. I look up. In my sight is a large building towering overhead as if to reach the heavens, and clinging on its side like a spider is the figure of the enemy. Long hair covering her whole body and flexible white limbs. The figure with the masked face is none other than the servant Rider. The figure clinging around the 5th floor looks at me and licks her lips. I feel a freezing chill. There's no mistake.
What a weird fetish.
She came down from the top of the building to kill me using my overhead blind spot. Saber lands on the ground. Saber, who jumped above me and deflected the attack, has instantly armed herself.
And Toseka will need to buy another one of those clothes, okay.
She kicks the ground. The silver armor disappears from my vision in an instant. If Rider coming down from the top of the building is ridiculous, so is Saber pursuing her by just jumping. No, perhaps because they're servants, normal logic doesn't apply to them. Like Rider, Saber kicks the side of the building and charges at Rider like lightning. They're wall-running. The two shadows intersect at great speeds.
Wait a minute. If they are basically wall running, why Saber didn't just jump in the trees when she was fighting Assassin?
Because she can't. Remember,
Assassin
the thing...
had the high ground.
He had the high ground, first of all, and second, you can only get into the temple through the mountain path. You physically cannot walk outside of the stairs. That's the curse.
I guess. Anyway, let's move on.
That's why it's such a defensible point. It's like watching fighter aircrafts dogfight. I
have to follow Saber.
One of them will kill us, the other one
I have
won't.
to follow Saber. Follow Saber.
Follow
Saber?
Saber?
He can make you the wall run. I don't know.
I genuinely feel like I want to see Tiger in the dojo again, but let's follow Saber.
We are going to fight together.
I can't just watch. Perhaps because it's a battle with no foothold, Saber is unable to overwhelm Rider like before. The two's conflict moves slowly up towards the rooftop. If Rider came from the rooftop, chances are Shinji is there. There are two conditions to fighting Rider: beating Rider before she has a chance to use her noble phantasm, or get Shinji before that. Since Saber is fighting Rider, there's only one thing I can do.
Go beat up Shinji. Like every single person with a good sense would do.
But we don't know where
Interlude
she is.
The two shadows running up.
Oh,
The ground
This
is
will be
already
the
far
fun
away,
day.
and the clashes occur at higher and higher altitudes.
Wait a minute. Why is Saber like she's just levitating?
Because she
Just
kind of
looks
is.
like-
She's jumping off of the windows at such a high speed. Her vertical velocity is just enough to keep her in a dash going upwards. The two need no
God
footholds
knows-
as they fly higher by
God
kicking
knows
off
what's
the walls. of the
God
building.
knows how's the ground when they are jumping, because it's physics. Am I right?
The two need no footholds as they fly higher by kicking off the walls of the building. In the process, in the instant it takes them to move to the rooftop, they clash numerous times. If there were anyone watching them from the ground, they would think it looks like pinball. But then again, they cannot be perceived with the naked eye. Only their tracks are barely visible, and they are a circus of death invisible to any normal beings. But this circus is not what Saber wanted. Even if she is a servant, she cannot fly through the sky. She can run up a wall, but that's it. This is no different from free fall. It's just the difference between rising until she loses her speed rather than falling. So the expression falling into the sky isn't that far off. Since she has started, she has to continue to her final destination of the rooftop. If she takes any blows from her opponent in the process, she will just fall miserably to the ground. But those rules do not apply to the opponent Saber has to defeat. A trace of purple attacked Saber, who is just heading for the rooftop. Attacking from both sides and from above, arcing from every direction, Rider is not bound by gravity. Her long hair sways like a comet's tail, and her figure is like a snake encircling a tree. Saber's feet touch the building. Tilting her body to the side, she kicks off of it to the head around to its side. Saber's path that had headed directly towards the rooftop changes direction perpendicularly. The flowing attacks go away. Rider cannot match Saber in instantaneous bursts. Saber shakes Rider off with one kick and reaching the side of the building kicks upward again. Up to the rooftop this time. If Rider is a snake wrapped around the building, Saber is almost an exploding firework. But maybe Rider expected even that. The distance between the two does not change. Rider doesn't let Saber get away as she runs to the side and attacks in the opening as Saber kicks off the building. She flicks Rider away with her sword and jumps into the open area. There's a limit to how much she can block Rider's attacks in the air. The skills that were not even a match before are finally matched on this battlefield. There are no decisive blows in this battle. No, Rider herself is avoiding them most of all. When Saber jumps at Rider with determination, Rider only defends and shows no intention of countering. Rider is just keeping Saber in check as she runs to the rooftop. Saber yells at her cowardly opponent. As a knight, this kind of fight is an insult. A battle determines the victor by exchanging blows with full force. According to that belief, Rider's behavior is only an insult.
Obi-Wan does not approve.
Rider only replies in a cool voice. As she says, Saber is inexperienced in air battles. One could say tonight is the first time she has engaged in such a one. After all, a knight runs on the ground. They are not the type to stick to walls like the woman in front of Saber.
Her famous sword. So...
Rider moves higher as if to tempt Saber. She is deliberately constructing this situation. Saber acknowledges that as well. The final stop of the circus. Rider's ideal position must await at that point. Rider's trump card cannot be used readily. That is why she is luring her enemy somewhere where nothing will interrupt them, as she is determined to settle this match with her strongest blow. If Saber continues to the rooftop, she will be in trouble. If Rider's noble phantasm is as Saber believes, there is no way to defend against it. But there is no turning back now. She cannot let Rider or Rider's master be. Not because it is the principle of the Grail War to defeat one's enemies. Saber must defeat Rider right here to protect her master. Because it cannot be helped. Saber herself is amazed, but she has thought, at least once, that she does not want to push her honest master. The two gain altitude. Continuing their momentous clashes, the battle is about to reach its final destination. And Shirou is still running up the stairs.
Oh, no, wait. Hasn't he just picked an elevator? Like,
well,
yeah,
he
well,
did, but then he has to pick up the stairs from the elevator.
Come on.
Why,
That-
Shirou? Why?
That must be some really fun scene in the anime, but anyway.
I ran up the stairs while cursing.
Anime.
Even though I was able
What
to
anime?
enter the 2005 awful show.
Oh,
2006, I should
wait
say.
a minute, there's not an anime of Fate Stay Night?
There's a terrible adaptation from 2006 of the Fate route.
We don't
They
talk
didn't-
about that thing here.
It sucks.
Oh, they only make the Fate Zero.
At least it's
Oh,
better
okay.
than the Tsukihime show, which does not exist.
Oh,
Oh,
okay,
shit.
fair enough.
Period.
Then let's move on.
Even though I was able to enter the building through the back door, the elevator didn't go to the rooftop. I have to run up the remaining 10 floors on my own feet. I run up the stairs at full speed. I don't know how long it's been since Saber left me. I don't think it's been 10 minutes yet, but it's still too long. Nobody knows what can end a battle. Saber isn't perfect. It's possible that she could make a big mistake and be cornered or in big trouble. So before that happens, if I can find Shinji and make him use up his command spell, there should be no need for us to fight against Rider. My convalescent body aches the more I run up the stairs. Running around the building and up the stairs has me run out of breath. I don't slow down, but rather speed up. I have a bad feeling. I don't know why I feel it, but my heart is in pain. It's not a pain in my body, it's just something that tells me of danger. Saber cannot win. On the rooftop is something that must not be confronted. Trying to shake off the bad feeling, I continue up the stairs at full speed. The wind is strong. As soon as I open up the door, the scenery of the night town surrounds me. The concrete ground is burned up here and there. It's like an iron plate from a barbecue making sizzling sounds. In the center, in the middle of the burned up rooftop, is her figure, down on her knees.
Saber!
Shirou, どうしてここに?
Saber has nothing to spare, breathing with her shoulders. The instant I try to run to her, I notice something strange floating up in the sky. No. The overwhelming amount of magical energy forced me to recognize it. I stare up at the sky.
Double Phantasm.
The sounds of wings flapping. There's something whiter than the hazy white moon.
Holy shit, that's beautiful.
A Pegasus, okay.
It is a legendary divine mystery spoken of only in myth. Status screen updated. And the instant Saber reaches the rooftop, she confronts the true form of her opponent. This is a flashback, if you can't tell by the black bars on the screen. Supporting her falling body with her sword, Saber looks up. A white light approaches instantly. Deploying the wind wrapped around her sword, she creates an invisible wall. Her body is blown away. That which should have nullified any possible impact could not even slow the charge of the Pegasus. Blown away, she rolls on the ground. There is no time to lie down. The Pegasus turns in the air and continues its glide without a pause. She cannot block that blow. The only possible measure is to jump and evade it. But even if she does avoid the attack, the trail is enough to chip at her protection. She will eventually take a direct blow if she continues like this. The white light comes swooping down. The Pegasus glides down from above, mows Saber down without touching the rooftop, and returns to the sky. Pursuit is impossible. There is no wall to run up, and even if there were one, no one would be able to catch that Pegasus. In that inferior position, Saber awaits a chance to counter. Even if it is a Pegasus, if it's alive, it can be killed. The only chance of victory Saber has left is for Rider to make a mistake when the Pegasus reigns.
驚きました。見かけによらず頑丈ですね。
A voice from above. Saber looks up, holding her sword ready.
ですが、それに意味はありますか？あなたには勝ち目などない。散るしかないのなら。
Rider sounds calm. A little joy can be heard in that voice.
幻想種だとは睨んでいましたが、まさかそんなものを持ち出してくるとは思いませんでした。ライダー。
A fantastic race. As it sounds, they are beings that exist only in fantasy. Demi-humans like sprites and giants, demonic beasts like demons and dragons. As their very existence is a divine mystery, it is said that they themselves surpass magic. It is the law that a divine mystery will be eliminated by a greater divine mystery. As magic stored in its power and knowledge, the fantastic races store their power in their long lifespan. Even if one masters magic as a human, that is only about the last 500 years. For those who have lived since ancient times, a 500-year-old divine mystery is not even worthy competition. But it was long ago when both humans and the fantastic races lived in the same world. The longer lived the fantastic race is, the farther it strays from this world. In the present day, the only fantastic race in this world are a mere few hundred years old. That is why she had thought of the fantastic race that Rider rode would be only about several hundred years old, when it is in actuality a few thousands actually.
ええ、私はあなたたちとは違う。むしろあなたたちの敵だったものに過ぎない。故に私が操るのはあなたたちが駆逐してきたかわいそうな子たちだけよ。
She is more aligned to nature than to man.
なるほど。
Perhaps she herself is a beast.
But she's surprisingly aligned to fashion as well, so anyway.
せいぜい呪いなさい。あなたでは私の子に触れることさえできないのだから。
A bunch of fanboys just started to have their dicks really hard flung around.
The Pegasus rests its wings in the air, a giant arrow that will strike if it sees an opening. Saber ponders, glaring at it. Pegasus itself is not a strong fantastic race. A normal Pegasus will only grow to the class of a demonic beast of the fantastic race. If that is the case, it is an opponent defeatable just with her invisible air. But that thing is different. As that Pegasus has existed from the time of the gods, it has grown to the level of the fantastic beasts. That Pegasus is nearing the level of the dragon race, considered to be the strongest among them. No, its defense is already at the level of the dragons, because that Pegasus has divine protection exceeding even Saber, who has the strongest magic resistance. Its charge, emitting vast amounts of magical energy, is like a giant castle wall approaching. There is no possible way to dodge or defend against such a thing. But that is not the surprising fact. That Pegasus is just something that Rider has summoned, and it does not have a true name. For Rider, that Pegasus is just like the dagger she uses. In other words, that black cavalry has yet to use her noble phantasm. Saber does not think of defeat, even in this situation. Rather, she thinks that her chance will come when Rider decides to use her noble phantasm. No matter what Rider's noble phantasm may be, there is no problem if it is only strong enough to destroy the building. Saber only needs to get into the fence, endure the attack, then slash away at the defenseless Rider. That's right, as long as her master does not appear here. And then he did.
We fucked them. We fucked them.
I look up at the sky.
We done goofed up.
The sound of wings flapping. There's something whiter than the hazy white moon. It is.
I mean, wait a minute. There will be the situation of Pegasus if we stayed back there. There would be just a situation of Pegasus going down at us and Saber needing to jump a goddamn building to catch it.
A legendary divine mystery, spoken of only in myth. We'll see what happens. The identity of Rider's noble phantasm. Is that what caused the scorching of the rooftop and drove Saber to her knees? Rider is riding on a flying horse as befits her class's name. I take my mind off Rider. I heard a sound. I cannot tell how strong Rider is on that Pegasus. I can only tell that the white beast is constructed from enough magical energy to have come from a few hundred magi. It is only natural for the rooftop to be scorched. That thing destroys its surroundings just by running. If that thing charges from the sky, there's no way even Saber can block it. I'm racing against time here. Rider's noble phantasm has already been used, so I have to take the last resort of defeating Shinji and eliminating Rider.
Speaking of the devil,
I hear laughter. Shinji must be hiding somewhere. Only his voice echoed. Calming my impatient mind, I listen to his laughter. Damn, the wind's strong. I can't even tell where the laughter's coming from. Yeah, fuck you, Shinji. We left you alive and this is what you do, son of a bitch. Don't rush. Let him talk. I should be able to determine his location if he keeps talking.
damn, speaking too much for someone that's being carried by its servant's noble phantasm above it all.
I was.
Oh boy! What a brick!
This is bad. The head of the Pegasus standing by in the sky lowers towards Saber. The swirl of magical energy rotates as if without limit. If that thing is going to be coming at a high speed, this rooftop will be blown away, leaving no remains.
Fuck you, Shinji.
A white shooting star falls from above. I ignore it, but the instant I run to Saber, in that instant, a storm appears before me. For the first time, she forgot about her enemy during a battle. angry at her master for coming to such a dangerous place, angry at herself for not realizing that this was likely. But all those ideas are driven to the back of her mind. What else could there be? In this dangerous situation, his expression is only worried about Saber.
Shirou.
Come to think of it, he's always been like that. Even though he knew she was an excellent knight, he did not treat her as a knight even once.
どうやら余興はここまでのようね、Saber.
Soft laughter. Rider places her hands on the Pegasus's neck and makes it beat its wings even faster.
私の宝具は強力ゆえ、地上で使うには適していない。使えばどうしても人目につく。まだ他にマスターがいる以上、けれどここなら覗き見される恐れはない。あなたを誘い出したのはここでなら都合がいいからと分かりましたか。
Something missing until now forms in Rider's hands. It is a mere small rain of shining gold.
それが貴様の宝具か、ライダー。ええ、私の趣味ではありませんが、この子は優しすぎて戦いには向いていない。
The Pegasus lowers its neck. The Pegasus rages not from its own intentions, but from Rider's.
消えなさい、セイバー。たとえあなたが生き延びようとも、あなたのマスターは私からは逃げられない。
That is absolutely true. Rider's noble phantasm will completely blow away this rooftop, including Shinji. If she hurries, she will be able to get Shirou and get away from the rooftop, but Rider's attack won't destroy just the rooftop. Her master is not strong enough to survive a collapsing building. So for Saber to protect her master, she has to slay that enemy along with the Pegasus. She has no time to decide if her choice is the correct one. She looks at the distant master one more time. He is gritting his teeth, trying to fulfill his role. That makes her hesitations go away. She forgets about everything that must happen in the future. She is only her master's sword now, and exists only to defeat the enemy. An annoying voice shouts out. As it does, the Pegasus flies up even higher. It disappears from view in an instant. The Pegasus that flew up into the air has already lost its form. After rising as if to strike the moon, it arcs and returns towards the earth.
Damn, now that's a weird gas leak.
A comet sweeps down. Even after it becomes an arrow of light, Rider still pushes the Pegasus. There is only one target. She will destroy her enemy along with this isolated garden in the sky. The name is cast. A noble phantasm bears a miracle that is only released by casting its true name. And if a miracle is a disaster that should not occur in this world, it is truly a divine lightning.
A little fun.
A flashing thunderbolt. Watching it, her eyes show no emotion. The wind is unraveled. The wind centered on her turns into a raging tempest.
Holy shit.
The seal is broken, releasing many layers of wind. Her sword makes its appearance.
Oh shit.
As a storm is rising before my eyes, a white light comes bearing down. Even though she is the target, Saber does not move. The raging wind is coming from her. No, not from Saber, but from the sword she holds. The theme! The Excalibur theme! Let's go! I doubt my own eyes. I can see the sword that should be invisible. Slowly, as if taking off bandages, her sword starts to show its form.
Holy shit.
Okay, so now's the time, boys.
Raging winds. Many seals develop as if a box is opening. The wind melts into the air. Readying the exposed sword, she faces the descending Pegasus. Rider descends as a surge of light.
We'll try to say it all together, or we're just gonna hear Saber do the.
Oh, let's just hear her say it.
Think about it.
Bellerophon grows large enough to engulf the whole rooftop and speeds up to destroy not only us but the building itself. The rains of the heroic cavalry light up the rooftop. Time stops. Facing unavoidable destruction, my mind freezes. But not because of the reigns of the heroic cavalry. The converging lights. Its purity is not even comparable to the light of Rider that is merely large. In her hands is an assembly of the planet's light, the strongest holy sword.
She said it. She said it. I'm so happy right now.
Well, that's one of the weirdest gas leaks I saw in my entire lifetime. God damn.
It is literally a line of light. It is a blade of light that slices everything it touches. It slices Rider with one blow, soars up into the night sky, cuts through the clouds, and disappears. I think, if that thing were used on the ground, a great disorder in the land would remain and never disappear. Her sword was not invisible. It merely did not allow others to see it. A golden sword that captivates all who see it, in its all too famous true name, Excalibur. Said to have existed in England, it is the sword of the king, known as the symbol of knighthood. The strongest noble phantasm of all servants, sealed in numerous boundary fields. That is Saber's symbol of heroism.
Too OP, please nerf.
Please nerf. Okay.
The rooftop is silent. The wind is gone and nothing makes a sound.
And Shinji's pants have a lot
He
of
is already
shit in it.
nerfed.
I can't
That's
approach
where she is
Saber.
already.
That is
Fair
true.
enough, fair enough.
I can't approach Saber and I just stand there. I don't know if I'm still confused or if my heart is still captivated by the sword. My mind is acting strange and only insignificant things come in my head. Why does she have that sword? That golden sword is the property of the well-known king of knights. I try to think how she ended up with it, and I've noticed I'm trying to avoid the simplest of the answers. There's no need for complicated guesses. That sword has always been hers. That's why her true name is easy to figure out. I don't know what kind of mistake was made, but there's only one person she can be if that she has that holy sword. Saber does not need to move from the stance that completed her blow. I should run up to her, but my body won't move. Up to now, I only understand in words that Saber was a heroic spirit. Perhaps I realized that she was a hero of the past, something different from me, and I hesitated to go near her. I hear a scream. Something is burning in the background. I look in that direction. There I see a book burning into ashes and... Remember, Shinji wasn't a magus, and he didn't have a command spell on his hands. What about his book being the command spell? That's weird.
That's pretty weird.
That
but
is really
no one
weird.
cares about Shinji, so just build it up.
Shinji is there, watching the
Why?
burning book.
Why does he have a book for a command spell?
That is a great mystery, isn't it? It's
They're going to
be
say they don't
answered.
have an seal, are
Oh,
they?
Absolutely.
So that's why he was confused when Shirou said he would cut off his arm.
Indeed. Because there's no
Okay,
point.
fair enough. Fair enough. Well,
Holy
so he
shit.
can genuinely just leave his command spell at home.
Yep. He must have
Yep,
realized
okay.
that Rider is defeated and he's at a disadvantage. That must also be one of the reasons why Rider is so disloyal to him. Because maybe the command spell is just weak from not being a proper command spell.
Fair enough.
Shinji turns his back to me.
That would explain too why he essentially has not a single thing of magical energy and can still be a master.
Indeed.
It's because someone did the hard work for him. Someone
Now the big
did the
question is, how the
spell
hell
for him.
did he get that book? That is a big
some,
question.
How
some
does
old,
that
some old
even
parents.
work?
How does it
Some
even
old
exist?
parents who decided. Some old parents of the family that saw what was going to happen to the name and decided to try to fight in a Holy Grail war, but he
remember-
couldn't, and Shinji
Yeah.
picked up the book. It feels natural, the explanation.
Who knows?
Man, I just want to see what
We're
thing.
going
I
to
want
get that
see
answer on
Shirou.
Heaven's Feel, aren't we?
Shinji jumps through the door leading to the stairs. I can't let him go now, but the instant I
Just
start to
one-
follow him, out of the corner of my eye, Saber collapses. My mind
How?
freezes. Shinji is running away and Saber is on the ground.
Red
Red
Saber.
Saber.
Fuck, I hate this.
Are you guys sure? Are you guys sure?
Fuck, I
mean-
hate this.
I mean, Shinji could make a pact with another servant. That would be a problem.
Red
and
Saber.
he is a murderer.
Wait a
He is
minute,
a
wait a
murderer,
minute,
but-
wait a minute.
But it's
Wait a
crazy.
minute. He does
This-
not. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. He has not the command spell anymore,
Yeah,
correct?
he doesn't have the book anymore.
But we did
So
defeat
he's
the
practically
Rider.
off the game. So
No,
he's off the game.
he, as far as we know, he's still a master. He could make a pact with another servant.
But how could he make it? They literally said if you lose the command spell, you are essentially
No, they didn't say that. They said if you lose your
No?
servant, you're still in the game. If another servant loses their master, they could make a contract with you.
So we did kill. We killed the
Well,
Rider.
if he
right?
lost his command spell, that would be the case. I'm saying that Shinji lost his book, so maybe that is a loophole, because that was his literal physical command spell, which he lost.
Besides, this might be our only chance to get Shinji.
Fuck, I think the right choice is Red Saber, and I think that is what Shirou would do.
Are you sure? Like,
Yes, that's Shirou code. I don't know. It's like himself. For what I know about Shirou, he will do this.
this might be our only chance to get Shinji.
I
No,
want
you-
to fuck this shit up. I want to beat up. I want to put the. I want.
Yes, and that.
Let's
I
go
want
for
to burn
Shinji.
this
Let's
guy.
go for
I would just
Shinji.
want to put
Let's
me
go for
in a hole.
Shinji. We'll die. If we are distant, if we let Saber be on the ground, we're going to die. We're going to die.
Yeah,
So let's
that's
go.
true. That's why.
Let's just
But
die. Let's
anyway-
follow Shinji.
Anyway, with Shirou,
But
how
are we,
Shirou
though?
thinks, I think he would run to Saber. How Shirou thinks. I
I
think
don't
so.
know. My bet.
That's-
My bet.
that's so
My
like
bet's
Shirou
on that
In my
too.
mind.
I will
Maybe.
not spoil, but I will say that either of these options does not lead to a dead ending.
Oh damn it!
But I will still go with Red Saber because I know a little bit.
Therefore,
I
if we
just
choose
think
one,
that
we are not
Shirou
going to do
would,
the other.
would choose this. I just think that Shirou would choose this.
For the sake of making things interesting, I will follow Shinji.
Okay, Red Saber. Boom it.
We
What
are
would-
already safe. We don't need more
How?
Saber
What
points.
would Saber? Damn it!
It's up to you.
Damn it!
I think either choice are good. Whatever.
Yeah, but one of them is going to be Saber happier with us, and the other is going to be Saber not happy with us.
I mean,
So-
it doesn't make a difference at this point. We already have a deep connection with Saber, so just
Then again, it would be an asshole move.
I just chose the Red Saber because I think Shirou would do this. I think
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, but I can.
In my
only
mind, it's
just,
so like
but now
you.
I can. But now I think of Saber's giving him. Let's go for Shinji.
Yes.
Fuck.
Saber would
You're
Saber would
not-
have voted for it.
We're not gonna regret it.
That's what Saber would ask.
Shinji comes first. If Saber defeated Rider, I have to catch Shinji and have him relinquish his status as a master. There you go. Shirou was concerned that he might get another servant. High-pitched footsteps echo in the dark. Mato Shinji flees through the dark hallways.
Damn it! Now that I think of it, I think I picked the wrong one.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, because Shirou's nearly fainting a few hours ago.
Just watch.
Rolling down the stairs, crashing into the wall, crawling on the ground, Mato Shinji heads for ground level. In his mind, the image of the light that slashed Rider will not fade. Exactly as he says, that noble phantasm is an abnormal existence. The holy sword that appears divine to its allies looks like a devil's creation from an opposing viewpoint.
I mean, the devil's not that strong.
So he runs through the darkness. That light will come if he stops. He will vanish without a trace if he turns around. There's no time to pause. He puts more weight on his life than on the fact that he has lost his servant, or on the fact that he isn't a master anymore.
He's not a master anymore.
何が私の宝具は無敵ですだ。あの口だけ女、よくも僕を騙してく
Well,
れた
maybe
な。
Shinji isn't aware that he could make a new contract.
寝
But
首
he
を
could.
かかれるんだ
Damn
間
it,
抜け
now I
が。
think of it, we should have been with Saber. Damn it.
But those were Mato Shinji's orders. Not to kill them quickly. His orders, huh? Ignoring Rider's advice that they should kill them with one blow if they used the noble phantasm, he chose to corner Saber. Another tumble. Even though he's almost out of this darkness, he hits a huge wall.
こんなところに壁なんか作りやがって。
He punches it in anger. An unlikely sound is made. Mato Shinji looks at what he thought was a wall, and at his arm bent up like a puzzle ring, and even forgets to scream because of fear.
ダメよ。
Oh
ま
shit.
だ無事でした
Yeah.
歯医者に
Oh
は
I
見
didn't
に
boy.
来てないんだ
He's
から
dead. He's really dead.
Holy shit. Maybe
He's
we are
really
dead.
dead.
Maybe we are
Laughter
dead.
fills the air. In the
Oh
tense
boy,
darkness,
he's
the
dead.
silver hair of a white girl appears.
Oh boy, oh boy, there's going to be a
He's
fatality
definitely dead.
here.
Oh, he died.
The
He
moment
died.
of recognition, the instant he realizes what's in front of him, Mato Shinji is terminated. And that was the end of Shinji.
And Shirou ran there. Oh boy, we're going to die.
I run through the dark hallway. I can't see, but I'm able
Oh
to
boy,
follow
we're going to
Shinji.
die.
Because there's no other sounds, Shinji's footsteps echo through the hallway, so it's easy to follow him.
足音が途絶
It's a sudden change. The sound I was hearing was nearby, and there's still some distance to the elevator. As far as I can
Oh boy,
remember,
Shirou's dead.
there's no reason for Shinji to stop in the middle of the hallway.
Shinji?
I walk
Oh boy,
quietly
he's
and
dead.
advanced with caution. I see the change quickly, the spot where Shinji's footsteps died. In the hallway that was empty on my way to the rooftop, there's a red puddle. My mind freezes. Before I can think about what happened here, my body reacts. I can't be here. My senses trained by Saber are telling me to go back to the rooftop as fast as possible if I
Damn
value
boy,
my
go
life.
there, boy. Go, go, go.
No, he
遅く
didn't.
なった大丈夫か
You know,
セイバ
how do you run Saber? We wouldn't be able to see the scene.
Controlling my
Okay, fair
nausea,
enough.
I run towards Saber.
Wait a minute. What we would get if we just ran towards Saber?
We would get some extra Saber points and
And
some more emotional conversation.
We wouldn't know about.
And we wouldn't have
Matoshi.
seen Shinji
Oh, I
being
think-
decimated.
I nearly want now to just go back so we can get more Saber points.
I think
There's
that
no-
his choice
There's
was
no
the
turning
best
back in this motherfucking
There is no
playthrough,
turning-
friend.
But there
one.
is
I
a
think that the
save point. You
choice
made.
was the best one.
You
was the
did
best.
a save point right there, boy.
Saber
Why
doesn't
want
look well at all.
Saber?
She has sweat on her brow, and her breathing is weak yet irregular, as if she has a fever.
そんなおいセイバ
What do you think, you fucking degenerate? She has limited magical energy, and she just spent a fuckload of it unlocking her power.
Damn, now it's time to hit a cell phone and call her in. Oh damn, she doesn't have a cell phone. Oh,
I call
damn,
out to her
boy.
timidly, but she doesn't answer. She's unconscious.
セイバ
I touch her forehead. I automatically pull my hand back. It's unusually hot. If this is a fever, she's over 40 degrees.
セイバおいしっかりしろ
Even when I call out to her, her only reply is heavy breathing. I don't know what the hell's going on. I don't know, but we can't just stay here like
う
this.
ちに連れて行くからな文句があるなら後にしてくれ
I pick Saber up. She's light. She was light before, but she's lighter now. No, more than that,
But you
she's
big set armor.
she's
生きてる
she's alive. Saber's still Saber. I'm angry at myself for hesitating. Damn it, so what if she's a hero? No matter who Saber is, she's right here now, and she's warm. How stupid of me to think that there's a wall between us in spite of
す
that.
ぐに帰るからなそれまでおとなしくしてろよセイバ
How he's going home exactly?
He's running home. How do you think?
He's on top of the goddamn building and the stair down towards the building has Hercules in it.
Dude, he carried Saber from Ryudo Temple to his house.
Nothing
That's
guarantees that
No,
Heracles is still there.
I know. I'm not impressed about how he's going to. He has the strength. He has the strength to go there, but he has the way to go there. To go there.
Well, he
without
doesn't
just
know
facing
Heracles is
Ilya.
there. He hasn't
but
seen him. And the
we
fact that
know
he
that-
hasn't
we
seen
know
him
that
means
he's
that he
there.
left. because he was just done with Shinji. Probably what happened was Eliasville saw the Pegasus go doing some crazy shit in the sky, went up and killed Shinji, and then went away, presuming that that was that.
You know,
But she didn't.
By the way, who was Rider?
We're going to see that after we're done with this.
but you asked who Bellerophon is. He is a Greek hero.
All I feel is Saber in my arms, breathing painfully.
But I think she saw the light of the Excalibur.
終わったわ
Maybe.
よ
Well, she also doesn't want to kill Shirou, at least not quickly.
Yeah, that's true.
And by the way, isn't it weird that Shirou ran the entire city holding a girl in
It's
an
not the first
armor
time.
suit?
It's not the first time he's done it. First of all,
And no one.
and second of all,
saw
there's
him
very
on the
there's
goddamn-
very
in
little
metro,
people on
in
the street.
metro.
There's very
That's
little
the
people
metro.
at the street.
Because
If
of
there's
the
a
gas
living-
leak.
It's just if there's a living soul in the city, you just look down and hey, there's a boy holding a girl in an
I mean, what the
armor
fuck
suit
would they do?
with a sword in her hands?
What the fuck would they do if
Call
they
the
saw it?
police or something.
Why would they call the
There's something
cops?
lucky.
He's taking this chick
Yeah.
running out.
Yeah,
She
there's a
might be
girl
doing
with a sword in the
cosplay.
middle of the
What do you
street.
Just
know?
another day.
It's
in Kyoto
Japan,
City.
man. It's Japan in the early 2000s. Maybe they were doing a cosplay photo shoot, and she got, injured
Drank it.
somehow, and now he's taking her to the hospital
They're,
or back
they're,
home.
in the very least, there are two minor children running. There are two minor
Well, they
minors
don't know that,
running the
man.
street.
And plus, there's no one at the street because there's been a chain of murders and gas leaks happening. Plus, 500
Another
school
reason to
children
call
just
the
went to
cops.
the hospital.
More reason to call the
And
cops.
they were at the
Someone
most.
send
They
the
were at the
fire- send the
most populated
firefighters.
part of
Send
Fuyuki
the
City.
priest to kill-
They were at the
send
most
someone.
populous part of Fuyuki City, and the fucking tallest building in Shinto was fucking empty. There's no one out. Everyone is scared to death, literally, that they are going to die. It's not like someone in the street is gonna look at Shirou running away with Saber and go like, "Oh my God, that must be the end of the world." You're not gonna call the cops over it either. I wouldn't. I'd be like, "What the fuck was that?" And then I'd just keep on going with my day.
You know, at the end of the day, Shinji truly is our best friend, because he causes his own demise
Yeah. he
every
dies
time.
for us.
And by the way, he got really lucky. He probably deserved a longer death or something like that.
Oh,
but
so-
anyway,
if Shirou
Ilya
caught him,
will
I'm
have-
sure he would have done some bad damage before he died.
Ilya will now have another puppet,
Indeed.
and Hercules got to smash, so everyone's happy.
和室に寝かせてきたけど
Except, I don't know,
あの
even
分じゃしば
Sakura.
らく目を
Yeah.
覚まさないでしょうね
Yeah,
Except Rider.
that's true.
Yeah, she wasn't happy
父さんがいて
already.
くれて助かった
Yes,
I mean,
she
at
would
least
be
Rider
really
got
happy.
freed. Rider was freed from the predicament of having to serve under Shinji.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only
And
good
this,
thing
that's
to
for,
come out of
maybe
this.
I'm sad for the Pegasus that's dead.
Yeah,
But
that's,
anyway.
that sucks.
俺じゃあ
But
そう
now Shirou knows
セイバーの
about
手当て
Saber's
なんてできない
identity.
から
Saber really did go and kill a 4,000-year-old creature. That's pretty sad.
With
man.
the one and only Excalibur!
まあ鎧を
was
脱がせて
cool.
楽にさせただけだからお
Indeed.
礼を言われるほどじゃないわセイバーの体も良くな
Well,
らない
Saber's
し
completely fucked. It's not like she can recover her magical energy, so.
So
I think-
now we are relying on Archer every day. Let's go.
But still, having Tosuka around helped. She was the one that yelled at me when I came home in a panic about what to do. She worked out Saber's situation and advised me to take her armor off and let her sleep. It's been an hour since then. Somehow communicating with the unconscious Saber, Tosuka took her armor off.
それで何があったのシンジを探しに行って帰ってきたと思ったらセイバーがあれでしょ一波乱あったのはわかるけど説明してくれないかしら
I hesitate. Saber's noble phantasm. I should avoid revealing her true name. It's not something I can reveal by my judgment alone.
ライダーを倒したシンジはレイジを失ってリタイアしたよただその時にセイバーが宝具を使って
This is an awful, awful situation. Because now the game is closing in. and we still have plenty of servants to deal with. And Saber's running out.
1/7 of the competitors, 1/7 of the 1/7 of the competition is already dead.
Yep.
Not to think of it.
Only one.
Maybe more.
Maybe more. We don't know.
Nah, probably not.
Tosaka falls into a meaningful silence. She's Tosaka, so she should be able to tell that it was no ordinary matter. But the point still is that we spent a good amount of our energy getting rid of one servant, and we still have however many to deal with.
Yeah, we still have Hercules running around.
Yep.
That won't be easy to take down.
We're certainly not going to be able to deal with Heracles without a noble phantasm. So Saber, we have to find a way to deal with Saber.
Hell, we haven't even fucked that. We haven't even have the thought that he has his own noble phantasm,
which we haven't seen. So.
Yeah, and he's probably OP considering himself.
And now we are defenseless, basically.
Yes, because we only have Archer, and Archer really doesn't care about Shirou. So.
Yeah.
No, and he's probably just the weakest servant of all by now.
And
he
he's only
lost
concerned
every
about
single
strength.
fight he was in. He doesn't know his own noble phantasm. He's going to get his butt kicked a lot. Poor Rin.
Calmly, Tosaka mentions the result I have avoided thinking about.
セイバーが消えるっていうのか。
当然でしょ。セイバーの魔力はほとんど空っぽなのよ。セイバーの宝具がどんなものだったかは知らないけど、よっぽど魔力を使うものだったんでしょうね。セイバーは自分の中の魔力をほぼ消費してしまった。今彼女が苦しんでいるのはね、消えようとしている自分を必死に留めているからよ。
魔力がないから消える。セイバーは傷を負ってもいないのに消えるっていうのか。
ええ。サーバントにとっては外的ダメージより魔力切れの方が深刻な問題よ。
Because they can just heal if they have enough magical energy.
霊体であるサーバントに肉体を与えているのは魔力だもの。それがなくなれば消えるしかない。
No.
Well, let's go
そんなことにならない
kill
よう
him.
にマスターはサーバントに魔力を送るんだけど、あなたはそれができないでしょ。だからセイバーは自分の魔力だけで戦うしかない。切れたらそれまでよ。こんなこと一番初めに説明したでしょ。
Well, you did, Tosaka, but this is a shitty situation. That's
I think there is a way.
certainly what Saber told me.
けど今までは大丈夫だったじゃないか。セイバーだって眠っていれば持ち直すって。
それはセイバーの魔力量が桁外れだったからよ。そうね。確かにセイバーの魔力はまだ残ってる。彼女ならまだ消えずに肉体を保つぐらいの魔力は回復できるとは
But that's it.
思う。
Preserve herself, not do Excalibur again.
けど
Certainly not without
結局はそこだわるよ。
sacrificing herself.
セイバーはずっと今の状態で戦うことになる。宝具を使うなんてもってのほか。次に宝具を使えば
So now she's
セイバ
even
ーは
more
間違い
nerfed.
なく消え去るでしょうね。
Yep.
次に宝具を使えば消える。
Everything because her master is Shirou.
Now, first of all, I can't let her fight in this state. I don't want to see her slumped over in pain again.
理解できた？結局セイバーを以前の状態に戻す方法は2つだけよ。マスターがサーバントに魔力を提供するか、サーバントが自分で魔力を補充するか。
To have a servant collect magical energy herself. That would mean killing innocent people like Rider did.
まさかセイバーはそんなことはしない。セイバー自身がそんなことはしないと言ったんだ。
でしょうね。一般人を犠牲にするぐらいならセイバーは潔く消えるでしょう。なら方法は一つだけよ。セイバーを消したくないのならあなたが魔力を提供するしかないわ。
それはできるならとっくにそうしてるさ。
Just for this. Tosaka ponders, but it's only for a moment. Tosaka looks at me with an expression suppressing her emotions. Look, if you want to save Saber, all you can do is make her attack people and absorb their souls. I think you already know this. That's the most realistic measure, but that means Saber, of course, will object to it. But if you let things be, Saber will disappear and you will be targeted by the other masters. Saber will disappear, I can't even imagine such a thing. I still feel her body heat in my hands which were carrying her.
なら答えは一つよ。霊樹を使いなさい、エミ役。それで最悪の事態は避けられる。
That means ordering Saber to kill innocent people. I can't say anything. I resent what Tulsaka's saying, but at the same time, another part of me recognizes that this is the only solution.
決断はあなたに任せるわ。セイバーは眠らせておけば落ち着くだろうけど、決断をするなら次に襲われるまでにね。
I mean, Tulsaka has a point. She doesn't want to die. If Shirou gets attacked in his house, Saber's fucking gone, Archer is in half power, and they're both just normal people. If Shirou doesn't do anything, he's being irresponsible and putting her life in danger. She might as well just kill him in the spot, because he's just a dead weight.
That's right. You see, that's why we should have kept Sakura nearby.
Yeah, so we could kill her.
Fuck you, Bapto. I don't want to do this.
Tulsaka leaves the living room. I cannot even look up. I can only listen to Tulsaka's departing footsteps. And the night
Where's this
falls.
Sakura? I'm so sad.
So now they would be.
No, that's the end.
No, they wouldn't be. It would be in this next day.
Dragon's Blade. Why is Dragon's Blade?
I don't know, man. Nasu's a weirdo. I think he thinks he knows English. He just makes shit up as we go along.
Maybe it's a reference to Fate Apocrypha, you know.
Oh, of course.
Oh, okay. Holy shit, that would be
Rider.
a good reference, but I don't think so.
Her true name is as yet unknown, so we didn't see her noblest of noble phantasms, as it were, the one that's most connected to her identity. But we do have her two noble phantasms here. Bellerophon, Reigns of the Heroic Cavalry. All abilities increase by a rank when in use. AC plus 100 will also be in effect. That's armor class. Nasu was a big fan of tabletop RPGs. It is a physical attack that destroys the target by controlling a divine beast and using its powerful charge. Supposedly, the maximum speed is 400 to 500 kilometers per hour. It is a noble phantasm of the highest level in both attack and defense, as defense also increases while in use due to the Pegasus's divine protection. Bellerophon is the name of a young man in Greek mythology who supposedly managed to ride Pegasus. We also know now that she has divinity, but it is negative divinity. She has some divinity, but that has mostly degenerated. Divinity decreases as the hero's rank as a devil or her demonic beast increases. So she has negative divinity, E-, which is not a good sign.
Oh, what about Sabers?
We haven't gotten anything new, I think. What about
No,
Sabers?
We have. We saw the Phantasm.
No, I said
Yeah,
we didn't have anything new on the weapons screen. That's what I meant.
Okay.
True name is not here, but we all know what it is. It's going to show up tomorrow. No
But you're
details.
right.
We have this as usual, and we now have Excalibur, the sword of promised victory. A sword of light. It is not a weapon made by men, but a divine weapon forged by the planet, or the world itself. It is a noble phantasm that is the greatest of holy swords. It transforms the possessor's magical energy into light, increases its kinetic energy by converging and accelerating it, and allows for the usage of sorcery on the level of divine spirits. To an observer, it looks like a giant beam of light, but its target point is the tip. It is the ultimate slash that cuts through everything in its area the light goes through. Its enormous power heats space around the tip, and as a result, it is interpreted as a wave of light that mows across the earth. You could also call it a directed energy weapon. It's something like, you know, in Star Wars where they have turbo lasers?
Yeah.
Like those big cannons on the capital ships? It's kind of like that.
Basically have one of them.
Yes, it's like a gigantic plasma cannon, but in the form
And
of
by
a
the
sword.
way, now that we know Saber's identity, what is Rider's identity?
I will not say that because we're not supposed to know.
Can you go back
Yeah.
to the Saber stats? Just want to say one thing.
Saber status, okay.
Why her noble phantasm is C, but it's saying that is A++?
Because, well, first of all, it's counting Invisible Air is a rank C, a Noble Phantasm. Sword of Excalibur is a one-use thing, and her Noble Phantasm rating would be higher if it weren't for the fact that she can't use it more than once because Shirou is a fucking idiot.
Oh yeah, remember, she's nerfed.
If her master was someone competent, like Rin, for example, where she might be able to use it once or twice or 3 times or whatever, without passing out and dying, her Noble Phantasm rating would go up accordingly. It's not just her Noble Phantasm rating that got a punch. Everything else is smaller because Shirou is just not able to provide her with enough energy to go full power.
That makes sense.
To go berserker.
Now Berserker, it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. Just A+ everywhere. A, B. If he had A luck, this man would be untouchable, literally.
That's true.
Yeah.
But I
pretty
think
much.
he is already untouchable.
I mean, you can touch him. You're gonna die.
Meanwhile,
but, you
Archer's
know?
sad.
Meanwhile, Archer's sad.
really
We don't know
bad.
anything about him at all.
He's
Damn,
the
his
worst.
stats are bad.
Until now, he's the worst. We think so.
Luck
Yeah.
E is a really bad stat, guys.
Magical energy B, okay.
At least he has agility C. You know, agility C is okay.
It's not that good. Not that good.
Not that good, no, but it's you know
It's strength D.
it's better than
Strength D.
Rider endurance E.
Remember, his master is Rin. He has the best master he could possibly have, and he has a C.
Yeah,
That's true. That's true.
he's not a very strong.
The highest-
spirit.
Jesus
Don't
Christ,
judge
Rin,
him.
don't think the
Though
guy's
perhaps
not
his Noble Phantasm is broken. It would be great if he knew what it was.
wonder. Yes.
That's my man.
And even then,
Juan.
he would still be a class cannon.
Indeed. Well, we don't know who Rider is, but we do know that she's Greek. So that narrows it down a bit, right?
She was
What?
Greek.
Well, yeah, she's Greek because she
No,
rides
she was.
Oh,
She
yes,
just-
she was. Whatever.
She
You
just-
understand what I'm trying to say, you prick.
And we know she has some relationship with
Saber
Pegasus.
Saber just shot her with a laser cannon at point blank range. She's dead.
Yeah, she's dead as fuck. She's not gonna come back this time. That much is not a spoiler anymore. But perhaps we do find out her true identity in the routes
In
to come.
heaven field.
Not in Heaven's Field, sorry.
Yeah, but
In Bladeworks, I think we do. Yeah,
No,
don't we? Because she
No, we
she
don't.
does some
I
crazy
don't
shit in
think so.
Bladeworks.
I think we would do.
It's
No,
in
we
heaven.
Yes, we have a few.
only in
It's in
Heaven.
heaven field. Like
Fantastic.
everything. Like everything. My mom.
is in
my
heaven.
mom-
too.
my
Everything
mom-
except for
my mom
this
works
guy.
in heaven's field.
This baby here.
Okay, this guy is not heaven too. This guy is not heaven.
We also find out about this person in Bladeworks.
Only
Oh.
Blade works.
Yep. In fact,
I
in
did.
Bladeworks, Castor is a very, very important character.
That's
Wait a
true.
minute.
He is
What
very
he's
important.
doing in the entirety of Stay Night?
What?
We shall see.
Oh, Castor is doing some Castor shit, man.
Some custard.
He's casting.
He's casting.
His cat.
You know, it took
He's
it
like
took
magic.
what 8 days, 9 days for Shinji, 8 days for Shinji to prepare that boundary field. Maybe Castor is doing something even more than that, and she needs just more time. You know,
Mm-hmm.
He's a caster.
she is a caster.
And speaking of time, goddamn, this episode taking so long.
Not
it
really,
didn't,
actually.
Because we started late.
We started
Yeah,
late,
because you are goddamn late.
but it did.
Yeah, sorry.
It did
sorry.
take only 2
It-
hours,
it was
which
my
is
fault. It was my
just
fault,
about
sorry.
as much as we did. Actually, we could have probably gotten started on day 11 because day 11 is really long. That was a mistake again. And I am going to try to pause this as quickly as possible because spoilers for next time. But we could probably have gotten started on day 11 if it weren't
But
for the fact
there's
that
a
we were
question.
talking
What
a
is
lot
your
today.
wait a minute. Hey Devlin, what is your screen showing right now?
Nothing. I quit the game. I meant to.
And
I meant to quit to menu, but that didn't. But that
what's
didn't
going
work.
on the video right now?
It's just black. It's just a black screen.
Okay.
Put
But yeah,
something on
And
it.
just
Put Rin in Saber clothes in the,
You know
in
what?
the edit if you
I'm
can.
just gonna for the meme. I'm gonna start Stay Night again, but a different one.
What?
It is just, I'm gonna screen share that, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna make you so happy. Give me a sec.
It's Shumatsu no Valkyria. Fate. It's Fate is Shumatsu no Valkyria. It's Shumatsu no Valkyria version of Fate.
This is
Something
gonna be
like
our preview for things to come.
that. Fate version.
After
Oh
a few
no!
years.
Oh no!
This is just
Oh,
gonna,
Holy
no,
shit.
boy.
it's gonna leave this here.
Oh,
Oh,
here we go. Here we go.
the big
boy.
one.
GG.
Big boy.
But yeah, it was not as long as it could have been because we spent a lot of time talking about many things. But we could have gotten started on day 11. Day 11 is going to take some time. It's a really long day. It's actually 2 days in one, which don't ask me how it works. It just does. And then we're gonna have to do that. Are you guys free tomorrow?
I think so.
Nope.
No, not at all.
Nope.
Yikes. So I think what we can do is, but the other two of you are gonna be free, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow's Saturday.
It's Saturday.
Okay. Can you guys start early? Like, could we start like 2000? Because then like 8 p.m. Because then
8
we
p.m.
can get through the
I
whole
don't think
thing.
I don't think I can, but
Wait a minute.
I will
Shouldn't
try.
we just end the video before?
You know what? That's a good idea.